I don't think anyone has ever thought to put Borderlands and Apex Legends into one game, but SEGA definitely did, or maybe not, but this is what they're creating. How's it going, everybody? My name is Magnety. Welcome to the mothership, where we cover all the extraction games in development. Let's talk about how SEGA created a Borderlands Apex baby, Hyenas. Alright, now I just want to give you a bird's eye overview of what Hyenas is. Hyenas has a pretty interesting fusion of gameplay elements. It's set in outer space with multiple zero-gravity combat areas, keep that in mind, has different tiers of hostile NPCs, as well as 4 other enemy teams looting and extracting with you. So there's only 5 teams per match. You've got different operators, each with their own specified guns, abilities, and different perks. Then, of course, the well-known looting style of a battle royale, outside of the guns, of course, unfortunately. Hyenas also boasts a 3-tier leveling system, with operator mastering, general player level, and reputation, all affecting different things. SEGA, as the publishers, and Creative Assembly, as the developers, have created a game that is quite distinct, in the gameplay aspect, that is. Obviously, there's extraction shooters and battle royales all over the place. Hyenas is definitely not anything revolutionary, but it is certainly fun. Lastly, I wanted to mention Hyenas will not be free, okay? According to the initial Creative Assembly announcement. Now that might change, we don't know yet. Moving forward, Hyenas is not actually a Borderlands Apex combo, that's just how I feel like it plays and looks. Hyenas definitely has the art style and a little bit of the looter feel of Borderlands, but it's nothing like Borderlands, obviously, because Borderlands is an explosive looter shooter. Hyenas also has the operator concept from Apex, as well as the combat mechanics being insanely rapid-paced, but Hyenas, again, is definitely not Apex, or really even a combo of the 2 games in any way, shape, or form. It just has mildly similar aspects. SEGA probably didn't actually think to publish an extraction shooter that combined the 2 games together. Okay, so let's get into the gameplay mechanics. I literally breezed over some of the gameplay mechanics a little earlier, but let's look a little closer at them now. So Creative's marketing team labels their core mechanics as fight, steal, escape, which is kind of catchy in my opinion. Starting with zero G or zero gravity, Creative did really well with this in my opinion. You can latch to different objects, which refreshes your boost pack charge level. It's kind of hard to explain, but aiming your boost is pretty self-explanatory and feels smooth overall. The movement in zero G or zero gravity almost reminds me a little bit of Titanfall, but with zero gravity instead. So the movement it almost feels like Titanfall, but there's no gravity, so it's kind of unique. Next would have to be the general movement. So everything is astonishingly fast. I can't help but feel like I'm playing something like Apex or Doom or even Shatterline if you've played that game. Especially if you play as an operator with the perk that makes you run faster when you get shot, because then you just like run like Sonic, literally. It's crazy how fast you run when you get shot at with that perk. Anyways, now let's talk about guns and equipment. So basically each operator, or hyena as they call them, has their own gun that you use. Pretty straightforward, so you don't have to loot guns in the game. As for equipment, which you don't get from your character, there's really only grenades right now, but there's a handful of different types of grenades. You've got frag grenades, flash grenades, EMPs, foam wall grenades, which when you throw those, it creates a foam wall that you have to shoot to break. And then there's a cat one that almost combines the EMP with a slow damage tick, which that one's by far my favorite. So there's a decent handful of options to choose from. Next up is the different operators. There's 9 of them, starting with Hiroki, or Hiroki, a Sonic cosplayer with a copycat disguise ability. Basically, you pull out a camera and you can take a picture of any other player or NPC, and you completely take over their form. And when you do this to an actual player on an enemy team, it is really incredible because it literally changes your overhead name tag as well as how your entire character looks. It is totally impossible to tell the difference. Like, I ran into a guy that did this once, and he copycatted me, and I was like, how the hell am I looking at myself? I was so confused, but it was really awesome. Anyways, if you can't tell, Hiroki is my favorite character. Next up, we have Commander Wright, who is an astronaut wannabe, gone merc with a foam wall cannon for her ability. Next is going to be the Pro, with no true official name. Prior convict who escaped and is back on the run. He's got strong-ass sentry gun. Okay, listen. This sentry gun is insane. Like, I don't know how much damage it does, but it fucks me up when it shoots me, and it's almost impossible to destroy. Like, you gotta empty 5 mags into this bitch. It's pretty wild. Next up is Prima. She's a Russian ballerina with a zero-G harness ability, allowing her to play as if she was in 0G without the need for actually being in a 0G space, which is pretty awesome. Also really like Prima. Next up is going to be Galaxia. She's a prior drag queen gone rogue. She has what essentially is a bullet sponge ability, blocks shots, and can launch it back at the enemy sort of deal. It's not the exact case. I haven't played a lot with Galaxia, but that's kind of the general consensus of her ability. Now let's talk about El Cibone, or Izzy. I probably botched that pronunciation, but she has a scanning beacon which reveals enemy locations through objects or walls, things like that. And then one of my top 3 next is Doc Hotfix, also known as Yahoon. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but basically he's the healer of the group and has an automated drone that you can send to heal friends or attack enemies. Now it doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, but it's definitely enough to be fucking annoying as shit. And now, next up, Mosey, or Mozzie. Anyway, his name's Assad Dual. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say his name. He's got what's called a sticky rocket. You launch it, it sticks, and then soon after it goes boom. Pretty simple. And last but not least, Digits, aka Dale, classic old white dude. He has fire discs, which literally spit fire at enemies within their radius. Yeah, also pretty OP. All of these hyenas have really interesting, unique abilities. Leave me a comment down below which one you think you would choose. The last game mechanic I wanted to talk about would be the extraction mechanic. It's pretty straightforward, similar to a battle royale. Only one team can extract, but in order to do so, you need to earn 10,000 clout points first, which is called VIP status. That is done by opening vaults and grabbing merch, killing NPCs, and killing players. After achieving VIP status, an extract will soon pop up. Any teams with 10,000 clout must stand on the point until the extract bar is filled. Pretty simple. Now, you better be cooperative, or, extracting might not be very pretty for you and your team. Lastly, I wanted to cover the latest updates and community buzz around this game. As for the most recent updates and official news, the closed beta will be ending the day this video is posted, unfortunately, so I'm sorry if you're watching this and you wanted to play. It is either already closed or will be closing today, and you have to request access on Steam in order to get closed beta access. There have been no official announcements as for when they might do another beta or when the game will fully release. As for game updates, they've really only added mastery challenges for a few characters as of now, along with other bug fixes and other minor fixes. At least that's really the only thing that's showing up on the Steam DB update logs that I looked at, which honestly makes sense since it's in closed beta currently, so really not too much there. Lastly, as for the community behind Hyenas, well, some people feel the game is a bit lackluster, which is pretty fair in my opinion, but again, it's still in closed beta. Some places are saying it's closed alpha. I think it's a beta more so. But there's also been a fair amount of people claiming that there's hackers already in the game, which is a sad reality we all have to face in any competitive game. And it kind of sucks, and I'm not disagreeing. However, I'm not going to say that I've encountered a hacker in every single one of my matches, but I definitely feel like I've had situations like that before. Overall, I'm confident that Creative Assembly can wrap this game up with a little bow on top and deliver a really well-rounded game, especially with SEGA backing them. I'm not too worried, honestly. Hyenas has a lot of potential, but a lot of games have a lot of potential, so let's see where this goes. Other than that, guys, stick around for more extraction game news. We'll talk again real soon. Peace!